Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to another high level best of 3 of StarCraft 2. Today we have the two-time Home Story Cup champion Gumiho taking on Skillas. Both of these players have been posting some good results. Skillas, as of late, last 3 months, I think have been fairly good for him. I like watching online cups, I like checking the results of online cups, and Skillas has been performing relatively well in those. A bit higher than I think I've seen him perform in the rest of the year. Gumiho is a player that I think generally peaks when it matters. Home Story Cups, big tournaments, what the hell? Did this guy walk underneath the Zerg arm? I'm gonna, sorry, I wanna see that again. Did he walk underneath? What type of a sick animation is that? Look! Freaking underneath the arm! Is this type of stuff that the boys and girls that made StarCraft 2, they were really smoking the good stuff. That's surreal, no? Freaking walks underneath it, beautiful stuff. I bet it isn't even that hard to do. I get impressed fairly easily. You know when units fall off the edge of a cliff, like an air unit, and it bounces on the edge of a cliff? Like every single time that happens, like a near orgasm. It's so freaking good. I don't know why I like that type of stuff so much. It's like the details that really get me. It's like that there's some guy that was like, there's some, you know, some nice, I don't even know what these is, like arms? Some nice arms. Let's make sure that they can walk underneath it. I freaking love this type. So he did walk through the other two, by the way. I guess it's not as impressive as I thought it would be. Still, I freaking love this game. Alright. Gonna have a Stargate coming in the natural. Typical Skillas move. Playing something that isn't very common. What the hell is Gumiho up to? Reaper, Hellion into Mine. We're gonna get a medevac here. Phoenix is the first unit. Do I dig the vibes? I'm not so sure if I dig the vibes over here. I'm not so sure if I dig those vibes. It's going to be a 4 mine drop with a 2 Hellion Reaper start. So this was a gas first. We see Skillas meanwhile just saving up Phoenixes. It's really important for Skillas to deny scouting here. Even showing the fact that you have 3 adepts, I think is a pretty big tell. I wonder if based on this, we're gonna see a change of setup. Ooh, Phoenix actually is gonna go across the map. Yeah. What are you gonna do now, buddy? He already boosted his medevac, by the way. He's gonna go for 3 mines. Okay, 3 mines. Going to try and dodge this thing. We're gonna have a Cyclone on the way. Marine. I think this Hellion might have gotten lifted or at least attacked by an adept. Mine drop is going to go past. Hellion gets into the main base. We'll get at least 1 shot off on these probes. That doesn't really do a whole lot. Oh! Nice maneuver there with the probe, getting a kill. Here comes the drop. Phoenix is, by the way, severely out of position. This is going to cost Skillas at least some mining time, perhaps a worker or 2. It's gonna pull all the boys, really? Is that what we do here? No way. Whoa, nasty. Ooh, double nasty. 9 kills total, 3 mines. That is much more than Gumiho thought he could get. He's gonna follow this up with mech, field accelerator, and mech. 4 gases coming in, boys. Huh. Wait, what? Viking Cyclone. Oh, now we're building stuff. This is a build and a half. It doesn't have the gas for it quite. So 4 gas. No tech lab on the barracks quite yet. Ooh, do you want to finish this? I don't think you want to finish that shade, buddy. Cyclone's going to be important. I think you actually have to land these Vikings, by the way. I think that would be so cool to do here. Landing these 2 Vikings probably would have netted him another kill. 1 extra that does go down. In the meantime, we have Phoenixes in the main base, taking out a couple of SCVs as well. Now, do these Phoenixes get the info that they need? Oh, we get a fat mine there. Cyclone not quite gonna get the kill. Did not quite see the barracks without the tech lab. Okay, Observer now is gonna move in. What are you gonna do, buddy? He's not gonna move in. See Cyclone Viking. If I'm the Protoss here, I would be very confused. Building a Colossus is probably the worst thing you can do, no matter how confused you are. I think a Disruptor is better, an Immortal is most definitely better. We're going to have a decent Phoenix count here. So what is the plan? Triple Cyclone, 4 Viking. What else do we have on the way? Another Viking. We have a random mine here hanging out as well. Cyclone's actually putting in a lot of work. Mech Field Accelerator now activated as well. There we go. Some fast shots coming in. Vikings in the sky dealing a lot of damage. Cyclone Micro is absolutely phenomenal here. This is starting to almost... This is such a weird build. What the hell is this? This is working. This is working. That is what it is. Absolutely working. Viking's gonna get knocked out of the sky there. Viking's now going to go down onto the ground. As in they go towards the ground. They're doing it have a weird X with the ground. At least not that I'm aware of. One Phoenix extra is gonna show up. Does get killed. Oh, I was gonna say Skillas is cleaning this up, and he is, but he's an actual Viking. I think this is legitimately the first time in my life I've seen a Viking rush at this level. It's just a pure Viking rush. This is ridiculous. Follow-up is going to be 3 factories. So it is pure mech 5 factory with Vikings still. I think Vikings are bait, and I also think Colossus are bait. I really think that the last thing you want to do is build Colossus right now. Yeah. No. Well, Thermal Lance, you have 2 Colossus. You kind of have to. We have a 4 CC on the way already. We have an army consisting of 4 Vikings and 2 Cyclones. And this is just not a realistic build whatsoever. Armory coming in. Does it go for ship weapons? No. Right? Has to be like vehicle plating or attack on the mech. It's so rare to see mech in this matchup. Look at the gas mining coming in here. Big gas mining. Not a lot of minerals quite yet. Taking out these rocks might be considered somewhat of a priority. He's actually going to go mine Cyclone. Went for the freaking Viking rush into mine Cyclone. Nice. It's time to go to bed for me after this, that's for sure. I've seen it all today. Hallucinations coming in. Cyclone's clearing it. We have drilling claws now being researched as well. Nexus on the 4th phase. 4 depots. An eBay. Vehicle plating. Right, that makes some sense to me. Are we ever gonna see more? What the hell are these Vikings doing here? He's kind of hanging out. He's actually just gonna play Cyclone Hellion Mine. Double reactor? Yeah, double reactor. I've actually never seen this either. Like whenever it's always Cyclone Hellion Tank. He's playing Cyclone Hellion Mine. I love this for him. Freaking Gumiho is a national treasure. He should be on like he should be like one of these UNESCO sites, you know? Yeah. Protected. One of these 7 modern world wonders. The freaking pyramids and then Gumiho winning a game with mech. Absolute scenes over here. What a beast. Okay, sensor tower is gonna get knocked out. Stalkers get pushed back. I don't even know what you're supposed to do here as Skillas. I'd say you want to stay on a high stalker count. Add in some immortals for initial kind of burst damage. A couple of sentries I like, not too many. 1 or 2 is just fine. And then, yeah, that's actually just it. That's really about it. Oh, that was a terrible fight there. 5 stalkers disappearing in a sec. You're gonna get a blink forward. And the Cyclone count is extremely large here. I think you're going to need to transition into Airtos as well. I think this is actually the correct call. Like Tempest. The problem with Tempest is they're so bad against Thors. I really think having a Disruptor or 2 is hugely beneficial too. I actually think going for double Robotics Facility might be a worthwhile play. Immortal plus Disruptor, like 1 or 2 Disruptors to deal with mine, I think would be so good here. And the Immortal for just that initial hit, you know? Yes, you're still gonna get kited, but at least you're gonna snipe 1 or 2 Colossus, or 1 or 2 Cyclones, if you have like 4 or 5 Immortals. And then you can force field in, or you can just run away and force field out. I think these are fine things to do. Immortals are, of course, also very tanky. That's a nice burrow there. Observer is going to help out, but these Stalkers will die. 5th base is going to get knocked out here too. 5th base on the way already for Gumiho. Gumiho up 30 supply still. Do you have any upgrades? No, no extra upgrades coming. It's going to be Carrier. I have no thoughts on this. No, I do have thoughts on this. I think it's balls. I think getting some Tempest here I much would have preferred. Because I think we're in a situation where you're not secure whatsoever. Like, if this is a secure game, I'm loving the Carrier. You know, I think it's a good call, but this is not a secure game. This is a game where if Gumiho gets like one decent trade, which I think he might just get now, you could just die. Like, you just straight up die. Cyclones are going to connect here with these Immortals. Vikings are clearing these Cyclones. Here we go. Can we move forward a little bit? Mines in the back are going to deal a lot of damage. Zealots being taken out. Don't think the Cyclone count here is big enough, though. We have a couple of tanks being added in. Mothership now on the way. The first 2 carriers have hit the field. Do you really want to move in forward with those? I guess you do. 3 mines still over here. We'll get to survive. We have 2 Liberators up top. This is a typical Gumiho move, by the way. Like a random double Lib attack. Just to cause a little bit of chaos. Okay, a little bit of chaos from that reactor starboard. So here we go. It's Liberator number 1. At the same time, we're going to have an attack over here. Carriers are being split up to deal with this threat. Both Liberators going to siege up at the same spot. I'm not a huge fan of that. I prefer splitting them up. Still going to deny a little bit of mining, but minus 2 Libs wasn't entirely worth it. 150. Yeah, it's 150 supply to 200. So a huge advantage here for Gumiho, who's now maxed out. And that means he wants to trade. The moment, if you're meching against Toss and you max out, you need to start trading. ASAP, 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 ASAP. Because otherwise you're going to be in a bad spot. So we have this kind of siege up across the map here. It's going to get a couple of tanks in position. It's going to help massively against specifically the Stalkers, but also, of course, against the Immortals. Meanwhile, Cyclones going to be dealing with the Carriers. It is 145 to 180. Here, once again, Tempest will be so big because Tempest don't need Interceptors to shoot. And Interceptors are just not that great against mines. Here comes a very nice invisibility move on this Mothership. Tank is going to get sniped as well. We're going to have another tank siege up. More and more Cyclones moving in forward. We have a lock on. I'm not even sure what we're locking on to, but boy, are we locking on over here. And boy, is it feeling great. This invisibility is lasting forever, though. Skillas is going to blink in forward and will clear all of those tanks. Carriers are moving in as well. 145 supply to 170. But a lot of that is going to be in production. We are on 8 factories. This is the 5th base here for Skillas. We are already on 6 bases for Gumiho. 6 base for Gumiho. And he has 2 extra CCs over here as well. So we're 6 command center. Or orbital. 6 orbital. 2 planetary. And I think right now what you want to do is go for a split. Because the carrier count is going to grow. Carriers are not great in split armies. So having like these minor attacks on one side and then major attacks on the other, yeah, I'm a very big fan of that. One can definitely say that. If this base ends up dying, Skillas actually doesn't really have anything to do with this whatsoever. We're going to get a recall here, but that's just pure Stalker. I'm not even sure if that's enough. Skillas might be capable, or sorry, Gumiho might be capable of actually committing to this position here. Because Zealot Stalker is not necessarily great against Heli and Cyclone. Look at this. This is going to be quite an okay trade here for Gumiho. The problem is that the carriers are also unleashed. They're going to be moving in forward. We're going to get a mine that gets to connect with a carrier. Splash almost kills one of them. Not quite, though. Manages to survive with 21 HP, I think that was. We have a double Hellion drop still going in. We have Hellbat in all of these bases. One of these bases is going to get taken out. But that was the 6th base. The 6th base. At the same time, this base manages to stay alive. Carrier still moving in forward. We have Viking production kicking off right now as well. Here come the Cyclones. Are going to clear at least one of these carriers. Second carrier also goes down. That means we only have 2 carriers left and a Mothership with like 12 HP. I mean, you get freaking 4, 6 Vikings out. A couple of Cyclones, you might be fine. The question is, though, is there going to be too much mining tonight? Just before that, this is an absolutely bonkers game. Double Hellbat still attacking this base as well. We have a Stalker run by over here on the bottom side. And here goes Skillas with the commitment into this position. Vikings are out, though. I think you might need to recall. I don't even think there's a recall available, though, because you're going to lose a lot of carriers here otherwise. No? Carriers managed to escape. Okay, this is fine. Stalker still alive as well. Are going to continue denying a lot of mining. We have a double Zealot run by here on the bottom right, which is huge because these mules just dropped. That means we're going to lose a lot of mining on that bottom right side as Gumiho. Gumiho still on 5 base versus 5 base though. Despite all of this, still up in supply. And now we're going to catch these carriers. No, we're not. Yes, we are. Right? It's just 3 carriers. We have a huge Cyclone force. We're adding in more and more Vikings. I think this is the moment where we would like to strike. This is absolutely the moment where we would like to strike. I don't think Skillas has the force here to do anything here. Viking count is growing. It's going to be +1 air weapons. And +2 vehicle plating, of course. Gonna get a recall onto this base. I think that's a mistake because Cyclones are all gonna lock in. We're gonna get a big time warp on top of this army, but yeah, Viking count just a little bit too high. And I think just like that, we're gonna actually get a W here for Gumiho, or is it at the same time? Hellion run by into the natural. That might just be the nail in the coffin, because that is a lot of workers going down. Without that, it might have actually been fine. This Hellion run by is what did it. Well, is it even what did it? 23 workers, yeah. Otherwise, Skillas would have actually been in a winning position. He has a lot of gas in the bank. A couple of Archons in the mix. Could have been great. He's gonna go for Storm instead. Continues to push. This game is not quite over yet, by the way. But now that an Observer dies, it's going to get much harder. Double Viking run by. I don't even know where these guys came from. They're gonna do a lot of damage here. Stalker, couple of workers. At the same time, a base went down on the side of Gumiho. You have the final carrier getting sniped. We have more and more mines now moving in forward. And now I really do believe that it is game over, because 47 workers to 56, 122 supply against 74. The only thing that Skillas still has going for himself is a very high gas count, as Gumiho, I mean, just a ridiculous game. A typical Gumiho game once more, right? Just starting with a freaking mine drop against Phoenix, which isn't even allowed. Following it up with a freaking Viking attack. Like, it's surreal. And then playing one hell of a mech game to boot. Phenomenal stuff here out of the South Korean Terran player. Triple Stalker run by is gonna hit this bottom base, might kill a couple of workers. But the problem right now is just the difference in army size and the difference in army quality. Archons are fine if you're trying to complement an army. Maybe have some extra anti-air. But not as just kind of the base unit in your army. It just does not work like that. And Storm's not really going to connect here. Gumiho's going to be pushing in forward here. And that means that Skillas is going to lose game number 1 here on Amygdala. But if this game number 1 is going to be an indicator of what the rest of this series is going to be looking like, then boy, are we in for a treat. This is why Gumiho is just much cooler than most other players, to be honest. He is one of these dudes, you know. You look at him and you think to yourself, I bet I could win like that too. And then you try it and you can even be like a diamond player with it. No offense to the diamonds, of course, but you know, it's like he really makes troll builds look kind of good at like the absolute highest level, which is freaking insane. Like, it is really, really insane to me. Because mech is really unviable, I think, at the highest level. And opening up with a freaking Viking push, I've never really thought about it. And I've never seen it executed like this either, but I mean, it looked kind of cool, to be honest. I'm not sure if it is viable or unviable or what it is, but it is a build that I might want to copy at some point. Oh yeah. Gonna have a cheeky little probe scout coming out of Skillas. Single gas opener for our good friend Gumiho. Open up with it's a gas first. Look at this, quick trick. If the gas hits 100 when the barracks finishes, that means it's a gas first. If you're scouting and you're a Protoss player, you also know it's a gas first when the barracks finishes 3 seconds later. See? This barracks finished at 1 minute and 30 seconds. So that means it was refinery before barracks. So you pretty much know in this case that it's a single gas based on your scouting as Skillas. And also that it's going to be a Reaper first. Because gas first almost always is with Reaper first. If it's not with Reaper first, then it's usually an eBay block. So, and high ground CC is also what you're expecting. So everything you can kind of draw out from here now, just because this barracks is 3 seconds late. There's actually a different build with a barracks that is 3 seconds late, and that is a proxy barracks over here, and then second barracks in the main. And then you proxy marauders from here and get marines in the main. So you always have to be careful, you know, by making too what do you call it? Too direct of a read. Like, you always have to keep in mind that there's other things. And also sometimes, if you play against bad players, they just forget their barracks for 3 seconds. So here you are thinking you're playing against the gas first, and in reality your opponent just sucks balls. Which, you know, fair play. Sucks to suck. Ooh, got a fat smash on that Reaper. This Reaper's gonna move towards the top side. Should not be capable of getting anything done here. Next depth is already out. Yeah, keep running away, buddy. Ooh, that's a nice nade. That was a beautiful zoning nade. He's gonna get a scout. I wonder if he gets to leave here. I don't actually think he will get to leave. I actually don't think there's any way he will get to leave. He will get to leave. And for free. And that makes his way across the map. He's gonna see Tech Lab, Starport, everything neatly positioned, just in vision. Hold that adept. The perfect spot for the perfect scout. Alright. It sucks that everything got scouted on Skillas side as well, not gonna lie. That is not pleasant. It's gonna follow up with a 3-8 blink. Okay. I'm vibing with this. Robotics facility, very late. Does not feel like this is going to be a 3-gate blink with a prism. If it is, I'd be shocked. Could be some type of like a 4-gas opener. I think Skillas is quite keen on those usually. So he's gonna get a double stalker warp in now. A battery in front here too. Ooh. Cyclone full vision here in these smokestacks. Stalker perhaps in a bit of trouble. Needs to be careful. Gonna get a shot off on this Reaper. Nice control on the Stalkers. Matter of fact, going across map. This is a typical Gumiho move as well. There's not a lot of Terrans that like doing this. Cyclone plus Reaper. And then matter of fact drop in the main base is... I'm not sure if I want to call this yikesy, but I kind of do want to call this yikesy because this is pretty freaking yikesy. It's gonna force a recall instantly here. Let's get to run away. This adept is going to try to shade by. There's hardly any units here. It's like 4 marines total. Yeah, it's not a whole lot. Do we have a Raven that just got built? Or did he just build a tech lab with this? No Raven. Yeah, there's no Raven yet. Ooh, Cyclone's gonna get a kill on this adept. That's something. We're gonna get a really late prism. What an odd build order here out of Skillas. Liquid skill. Bum bum bum. Me after drinking 5 beers. Calling liquid skill. Supply block. 2 depots about to finish up. eBay coming in. This team is going to be quite late. We have a Reaper here. He's going to get a worker kill if he wants to. No, doesn't want it. Rather keep the Reaper alive to lose it later for free. Good call. Forge coming in. It's going to go for a harassment build here. So not a very high count of stalkers. Look at the gate timing. That's really what we're paying attention to. Ooh. Cyclones in position. It's just not going to work. There's too many Cyclones. Good luck, my friend. No way. Nah, you're not going to get that. No shot. Yeah, there goes the Reaper. Could done something useful on the other side of the map. Instead, he decided to die. Terrible call, really. One of the worst calls in the world. Just die for free. Why'd you do that? Gate count continues to grow, going up to 5 right now. Wouldn't mind seeing 2, 3 extra gateways being plastered on the map. Does not seem to be in the cards right now for Skillas. Okay, here we go. Adding these 2 at least. I always wondered if maybe just going 5 gate, immortal. Like, so you're saving some cash on the gateways and just pump immortals like your life depends on it. I've always had that fantasy of that being a good thing to do. And whenever I tried, I would just die to the first tank mine push. Fantasies perhaps should just stay fantasies. His depot is he's in range. He expected a shot on the stalker. You saw that? He shot the depot and then walked away with it. I was like, wait a second, I didn't get shot in the face. Oh, let's try that again. Then he tried killing that depot. Didn't quite work out. It's gonna clear 1 Cyclone, which is good. Cyclones are really freaking annoying to play against. Combat shield's about to finish up here. You have a prism moving towards the bottom side. Charge finishing up soon as well. This is 3 gas, by the way. No fort base, no robo bay, no nothing. It almost feels like Skillas here is applying to get a fat victory within the next minute or so. Not sure if he's gonna get that job done. Ooh, Medevac fairly damaged. Gets a Cyclone. Medevac still fairly damaged. Zealot run by a natural right now. CC gets stopped from building. 6 Zealots and a Dream. Let's see what these Dreamers can do. Smashing a bunker is not really interesting, but 5 worker kills. Delay on this command center. Yeah, that's good business. Force this pushback as well. This would have been really good had there been a Robo Bay behind this. Yeah, this is the god I wish I built you earlier, you know? This is a man I wish I would have bought 15 bitcoins in 2010. 2012, whenever they started making the bitcoins. I mean, why stop at freaking 10 bitcoins? 5,000 bitcoins. That's what this Robo Bay is, okay? He wanted to start at a minute and a half ago, but he was afraid of dying. But now that he managed to pull back his opponent with the Zealot, he feels like an idiot for not building it faster. Oh, he feels like such an idiot, he's gonna build 2. Oh no. He's buying at the peak. This is not good. Comes a 4-man drop. There's a beautiful unload right in front of the observer. Doesn't see the ops. Sucks to suck. Hey, that fort base not being there is a surprise to me too. Jesus. What the hell is Skillas doing? He's just letting this happen. No. You can give consent for this guy to absolutely destroy your main base. Yeah, I should do something about it. There you go. I'm gonna smash some of these Marines and Marauders. Prism's still alive, by the way. No turrets inside. I mean, there's one over here, but we don't count it. First Colossus now on the way. Where's that second Robo Bay, by the way? Oh, they got cancelled. Epic. Bunch of Zealots just patrolling the main base. We get a big Zealot run by indoor Zealot run by. Big Zealot warping into the main. At the same time, we're going to have an attack over at the third base. I honestly think Skillas is just kind of winning this game in a very, very decisive manner as well yet. This isn't even an orbital command yet. Oh yeah, it's going to be 4 base against 2 base. I'm not entirely sure about moving into the natural at this point. I actually would prefer not doing that. There's also a counterattack still going on. This Colossus is about to pop out, or is it? No, it's not. Psych. At the same time, we have an attack over here. This is actually pretty scary, Skillas. If you lose this fight and you lose this fight, all of a sudden we are potentially losing the game, which should have been theoretically unlosable. Yeah, we're just going to get a recall back home. I think this is a very wise decision. It's going to finish up this Colossus with the Prism, I can only imagine. Oh, it's going to pick up Zealots? Bro, you're up 2 bases. All you need to do is not die in the next 12 seconds. If you don't get a heart attack, this is going to be hard to throw, but you're trying your best. You should have used the Prism to finish up that Colossus, so you can have it in your defense. I mean, you're going to defend these drops, that's no problem, but this is the real problem. This is just pure mind. Never mind. This is no problem either. Just 2.5 Marauders. I think we'll be fine against that. Yeah, we're gonna need more than that. Maybe hallucinate some probes. Doesn't quite have the energy available. Gonna lose a couple Stalkers. 2 Stalkers out of the 3. At the same time, the Prism now comes in, pretty much after the game has ended already. Thank God these Zealots are here. Thank God they're here. It's gonna be +2 versus 1-1. Tanks defensively. Woo. 8 probes have died. 61 workers to 61 actually. That's a decent work count for Gumiho. If Gumiho holds this push, he's in an okay spot. I just don't quite see how he's going to hold this push. Tank isn't siege up, that doesn't help. Colossus absolutely roasting those Marines. Oh, good control on the Stalkers. Nice pullback into Blinkback. Marauders though, hello? Mr. Marauder? What's going on here, son? Oh, I'm not loving the vibes here. At the same time, Fat Zealot warping into the main base. This got scary for a second, but in the end, Skillas is still gonna get the W. Yeah, he made this closer than it should have been. He really did. But now that he's here and he's wrecking those SCVs, he's still on a decent work count. GG gets called. Score is 1-1. We'll be heading into the rubber match. Map 3 is ley lines with once more a gas first opener coming out of Gumiho. If Gumiho actually builds a low ground CC, I'm gonna lose it. Woo! Freaking lost it over here. What the hell? This is highly illegal, isn't it? I've seen people getting thrown into jail for much less than this. Low ground CC with a gas first. But Harstem, why is that illegal? Yeah, good question. Oh, you have such a weird voice. It's because there's no second unit out of the barracks. Which means that even if you have a bunker, you have no one to populate it. And you also don't have the cash for a bunker because you have a very fast second gas. So basically what happens is that if the Reaper does not force the first adept to stay home, then this adept's gonna walk across the map, and it is going to walk across the map. It's going to deny the CC, unless there was no blocking time whatsoever. I think this will do the trick actually. I think they should be fine. Skillas also saw the low ground CC here, right? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so this thing really needs to move across the map. How many worker kills is this worth? Okay, it's going to be... Oh, it's gonna stay alive just barely. Oh, this probe's gonna die. No, it's not. It's gonna stay alive. You get a full scout. Oh my god, this also survived. Eee, this is the worst timeline for Skillas. This is a very good timeline for Gumiho. I'm not sure if it's the best. But if this is not the best, then it's also not the worst for Skillas. Hate to see it. Okay, SUV is being blasted. Beautiful stuff. Blink here being chrono. What else do we have? Double Reapers now coming in. Or double Reapers, double attacks. Blink, a random tank. Medevac. Second gate. The second gate is really late. I'm just really confused as to what is happening on Skillas' side of things. I think he got a bit flustered by the early game. Because everything is just really, really delayed. He's not going to have a battery in time. He's going to need a battery, by the way. If you're not having a battery, in this case, there's a decent chance you're going to take some serious damage. I don't want to say die, because I just don't think there's enough Marines for it. But you could lose a decent chunk of your Stalkers here. Maybe even a pylon. Like, he has one Stalker, 2 Stalkers. That's not a whole lot. No battery. I actually think Skillas is really lucky that this isn't a committed push. This is like a fake attack. Like, this ain't real. Well, I mean, it's a real attack, but it's not one that's meant to kill. Like, if there's like 3 SCVs with here, and with this, and like another tank and a Liberator being rallied, 4 more Marines rallying across the map, I think the game just ends here, to be honest. Like, Gumiho right now is going to be regretting that, but man, this is still good damage. And this was his plan anyway. Like, this is how it went in his head. Like, this really still is best case scenario material. It's going to go in with the Hellion in the main, gets 2 worker kills there. 1 gate actually ends up going down. That's not a great look. Tank's going to continue shelling down the buildings. Robo falls, that would suck because you have no counterattack damage. Oh, this is not good. This is really bad, actually. Like, this was a 7 Marine plus 1 tank attack. Like, this is supposed to kill like 2 workers and a pylon. And then Gumiho looks at it and thinks to himself, yeah, it was fine. Yeah, he's happy with that, you know. In his journal at the end of the night, he writes, this was a successful early game. And that's just with 2 probes. Like, this is much better. Much, much better. Because that's a lot of structures you need to rebuild. Absolutely. Marines all stayed alive as well. Gonna send these 3 Stalkers across the map. I am... Oh, it's double reactor. Oh, typical Gumiho. He built a reactor with the starport, didn't he? He's gonna have so many freaking Marines, man. Dude, he's gonna be the Marine King. In his prime. Gumiho's gonna send this back. He's gonna have like freaking 20, 22 Marines. 3 tanks. No combat shield. Just stim. But there will be nothing here for Skillas. If Skillas manages to hold this, I'll actually eat a freaking shoe. Shoes are pretty disgusting. I will do it though. I mean, there's just no way. This is such a cool build. Gumiho is just much cooler than everyone else. I can't believe this managed to work this well. He's even pushing just without stim. He's just like slow moving across the map. Freaking slow motion speed over here. It's 3 Stalkers against 85 Marines and 3 tanks. Good luck, my dear friend. Stim has now finished officially. He's going to stim a portion of his army. Very high test. You have more units going across the map, low ground CC as well, and from here on out, I mean, the game is over. GG's gonna get called. Skillas loses the game, and thus, my dear friends, loses this series with a 2-1 score. That is going to be it for me today. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it. I, in particular, enjoyed game number 1 very much. I think that was a phenomenal game. A game that is really captured the essence of StarCraft 2. If you think so too, be sure to leave that in the comments down below. If you didn't think so, also tell me all about it in the comments down below. I hope to see all of you next time for more videos. Bye-bye.